Colts fans, every time we have set a goal here on the channel, you guys have crushed it, which is why I'm confident you will help us get to 2,000 subscribers. Easy to do, free to do. Hit that sub button right now. The latest surrounding the Indianapolis Colts, we've got it for you here on Colts Talk by Chat Sports. Billy Beebe, always excited to talk Colts football with you guys. Today, we just got a mock draft from Dane Brugler. Shout out the University of Mount Union, by the way. We will discuss who Brugler has the Colts going with. Listen, when you get a 2-round mock draft, you got to talk about it, okay? That's the facts there. We're also going to get into the Anthony Richardson trade rumors. They're going to be booming for a while now, right? Especially with free agency coming in hot next week. But the Brugler mock, like I said, the Colts don't have a first-round pick, so any mock draft, and that includes mine, which I put out there for you guys here on the channel, if you get a 2, 3, 4-round mock draft for the Colts, I think it's great to break down because, the longer you go in the draft, the tougher it is to make predictions, break it down, and pick names. So we got Brugler's today, and with that pick at number 47, Dane Brugler has the Indianapolis Colts selecting Jake Golday, the linebacker from Cincinnati. This should not be a name unfamiliar to fans of the Colts. If you watch our channel, we have talked Jake Golday plenty. We had his video combine interview up on our Chat Sports channel. So again, this is a guy, an accomplished linebacker at Cincinnati, a Cincinnati team that had a good season. He was a big part of that. Brugler listing him on his top 100 players, right in that area, by the way. He had him right at 47. Brugler's breakdown of Golday, his thoughts there. Golday was asked to operate in a ton of space in college, almost like a nickel defender, which helped showcase his gazelle-like speed to chase down the ball anywhere on the field. His mental processing took a clear jump in 2025, which was the hope in his second season as a full-time overhang linebacker. Gazelle-like speed. Get me a linebacker with gazelle-like speed. And I'm with Brugler, a clear jump this past season. They asked him to do a little more, and he did a little more just about everywhere. Looked really, really good. I will say the strength is definitely chasing down the ball rather than dropping into coverage or anything like that. But I have no complaints when you look at his stats overall. Whether it be last season into this season, you see the improvement. You see him getting after the ball well. And, coverage grades on linebackers are always a little difficult to gauge just because, some guys, that's a serious strength. But for most linebackers, it's not necessarily what they're built to do, in my opinion. And again, for Golday, his strength is getting after the ball. My thoughts on this, getting Golday at 47. You're knocking out 3 things right away with 1 pick. Okay, you feel a need. Linebacker's one of them. So is something else we'll get to in just a second. You add talent. It's not a situation where you're just saying, I need a linebacker, so I'm taking the next linebacker on the board. No, you're getting a good linebacker on the board. And, it's tricky to get into round 2 and 3 and 4 and hope you're getting a starter. I believe Jake Golday is a day 1 starter on defense for the Colts. I also just keep thinking back to, and you guys, again, if you watch this channel, I've mentioned this quote many times. The season ends, and Chris Ballard says, the defense, the linebackers, the corners, everyone around, they got to get younger and faster, is what he said. They got to get younger and faster. We need to get younger and faster. That's Jake Golday. That's exactly what he is. So if Ballard's talking about getting younger and faster on defense, Jake Golday out of Cincinnati would be a perfect fit for the Colts at linebacker. Also, I know some of you guys are all about keeping Zaire Franklin. I think they can play together. I think they'd be a good 1-2 punch at the linebacker position. I want to hear from you guys. Report card time. Give it a grade. Brugler selecting Jake Golday for the Colts at 47. A, B, C, D, or F. Grade it down below. I like to give you guys all the info we can in these situations. I said, hey, if we're looking linebacker, which I think the Colts could look linebacker, what are some other options in that area? We like to do still on the board type of thing for you guys. I do want to note Jacob Rodriguez went a couple picks later to the Carolina Panthers, and you may have gotten the Jacob Rodriguez media tour during the season last year. Super interesting guy, comes into college as a quarterback, transfers to Texas Tech. They turn him into a linebacker. Currently married to a a military member. I mean, the whole story with Jacob Rodriguez, super, super interesting. Once again, got better over time. Imagine you've never played linebacker before, and then you become an elite college football linebacker. Yeah, you're going to get better over time here with Jacob Rodriguez. 5th in Heisman voting as a linebacker. Pretty impressive here, people. Even in the Heisman mix overall, Rodriguez, that's something that should be considered and noted. And look, if they're looking linebacker, Rodriguez is on the board. I'm not saying go with him over Golday. I'm not saying I like one guy over the other. Should be considered, right, if you get to that point. I would even say if some team really falls in love with Golday, you see him go at 45, 46, you're a Colts fan, don't freak out. You got another quality option in Jacob Rodriguez at that spot. Time for a strong pivot here on Colts Talk. Yeah, we like to do that. Great producer job there by AP getting the pivot push going there. Let's talk Anthony Richardson. It's time to jump into the rumors, what we're hearing, what we're predicting. But before we do that, I do want to let you guys know next week, free agency, we'll have trades. We're talking Anthony Richardson. We still have the Pierce contract extension. A lot going on. Be sure you hit that sub button because when a move goes down, we will get it on the channel. So be sure to hit that sub button again right now. So we know at the combine of all times, by the way, we get the news that Anthony Richardson has been granted permission to seek a trade by the Colts. It was actually kind of ironic because we heard Chris Ballard speak. I was there for it. I was like, wow, he's really complimenting Anthony Richardson. He's really talking nicely about Anthony Richardson. We quickly, find out that there's a different story there. But let's go back and take a look at those comments from Chris Ballard.
Yeah, well, he's getting better. He just had I know he met with another specialist. He's getting better. He's been cleared to play football. I'm proud of Anthony, man. I mean, here's a guy that has had to deal with a lot of injury stuff that, happens. Unfortunate accident, with his eye. He doesn't win the job. Daniel wins the job. I think the one thing that I don't know if everybody appreciates about Anthony, I do, and I know some of his teammates do, is like he's a really good teammate. Positive, wants to do the right thing. So it's trending in the right direction. Still got a ways to go, but, he's cleared to play, and the eye's getting better. So we'll just work from there. I see a future, yeah. I'm not going to, kind of like with any player, you never know what's going to happen. And things change, but yeah, I mean, we like Anthony.
Kind words from Chris Ballard. A day later, we learned that Anthony Richardson was given permission to seek a trade. That was just trade prep, right? Talking kindly, hyping him up, shining off the situation there, making it look good between the Colts and Anthony Richardson, which, hey, maybe it is. Maybe Chris Ballard believes all those things that he said. But in the end, that was just to kind of get the trade ball rolling for Richardson. Hours later, maybe a day later, he was granted permission to seek a trade. Teams we're looking at in the mix as of right now. The Steelers, Rodgers is not guaranteed he is coming back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Minnesota, we'll get deep into that one here in just a second. I know you guys have heard that one around. Cleveland, forever a quarterback-needy team. Green Bay, they are looking to replace Malik Willis. The backup version of Jordan Love is what we've seen. And unfortunately, it is a situation where Willis usually needs to play at least once a year for Jordan Love. So that's why the Packers are in the mix there. If you had to predict it, what team do you think Anthony Richardson will play for next season? Is it one of the 4 I just listed, or do you have your own idea? Let us know down below. My personal thought, I like Cleveland or Minnesota for Anthony Richardson. That's kind of where I'm landing in this situation. I think the Steelers will get Rodgers back and have Will Howard. I think Green Bay, maybe it's a last-second thing. I'm not really sure. The Minnesota deal, I bought into it, and I think you're going to see it. There's a viral Kevin O'Connell clip online right now. I don't know exactly when it was, to be honest. I don't know if it was last year or the year before. I'm guessing it was last year when they played each other. He just said to Anthony Richardson after the game, "You're a bad dude. You're going to play a long time in this league. I still believe in you. Put your money where your mouth is. 5th round pick, please." that'll work great. Time for O'Connell to cash in on that one. With Cleveland, we got the report from Zach Jackson of The Athletic. Just noting, like, this is the type of player that new head coach Todd Monken likes, an athletic quarterback and a quarterback he can mold, right? He stepped in on the Lamar Jackson train and kind of got him going. Now he's looking to do the same with Shador or Watson or Anthony Richardson if the Browns could take a swing there. I will also note the Browns started the week with 3 fifth-round picks. They just traded one for their new right tackle. Could they trade another for a quarterback option? Ironically, they got it from trading Kenny Pickett for a 5th-round pick. So maybe they understand the value of getting a quarterback with that 5th-round pick. A lot of what-ifs, maybes we will see in this video, which you'll love to talk about during the offseason. That's why you subscribe, because when it happens in real life, when the news drops, we will have it for you right here on Colts Talk.